Have you ever really stopped to think about light? What is it really? Well, it's not just this wave thing. It's also a particle, a tiny, tiny packet of energy. And today, we're going to figure out exactly how much energy is packed into one of those little guys. So let's get right into it. So, here's the classic question, right? The one that physicists have debated for centuries. Is light this continuous wave, just rippling through space like a wave in a pond? Or is it more like a stream of tiny individual particles? Well, the answer is kind of weird. Yeah, surprise! It's both. Light has this wild dual nature. But for today, we're going to park the whole wave idea and really zoom in on its particle side. We're going to get to know the fundamental unit of light, the photon. So what exactly is a photon? Just think of it as a single packet of light, and every single one of these packets has two key properties that are totally connected. Its wavelength, which is basically what we see as color, and its energy. Understanding how those two are linked, well, that's what we're here for. All right, let's get right to the heart of it. The color of light, or, to be more scientific, its wavelength is directly tied to the energy of its photons. It's a really simple idea, but it's so powerful. It's the foundation for so much of modern physics. And here's the key. The relationship is inverse. It's like a seesaw. When one side goes up, the other has to come down. So a photon with a long wavelength has low energy. And a photon with a short, choppy wavelength, you guessed it, it's carrying a ton of energy. Let's just make this super clear with an example. Take red light. It's got a long, lazy, stretched out wavelength. That means each of its photons is kind of low on the energy scale. But blue light, its wavelength is all short and compressed, which means it packs a much bigger punch of energy into every single photon. And you can really see that difference here. Just look at the energy level for blue light. It's way, way higher than for red light. This is such a great reminder that colors aren't just something we see. Nope, they actually represent totally different amounts of energy, particle by particle. Now, of course, physicists have a beautiful equation that describes this relationship perfectly. You can think of it as the master key that unlocks the exact energy of any photon, as long as you know its wavelength. Okay, here it is. E equals hc divided by lambda. Now, I know, equations can look a little scary, but trust me, this one is the cornerstone of quantum mechanics, and we can break it down really easily. So first up, we've got E. That's the thing we're trying to find, right? It's the energy of our photon, and it's measured in a standard unit called joules. Simple enough? Next is that Greek letter lambda, which is lambda. This just stands for the wavelength, that physical distance between the peaks of the light wave. This is what gives us the color, and we measure it in meters. And finally, you've got H and C. Now, these are the heavy hitters. They're universal constants. C is the speed of light, and H is something called Planck's constant. The important thing is their values never, ever change. They're the same everywhere in the universe, which makes them the solid foundation for this whole calculation. But let's look at the actual numbers here for a second. Planck's constant, H, is, well, it's ridiculously small. And the speed of light, C, is unbelievably fast. So when you multiply them together to get hc, you end up with another super, super tiny number with a whole lot of zeros after the decimal point. So you can imagine trying to work with numbers like 10 to the power of negative 25. It's just a pain, right? It makes you wonder, isn't there a more practical way to do this? Especially if you're, say, an engineer trying to design a solar panel. And the answer is absolutely, yes. This is what scientists and engineers do all the time. They find a much more convenient way to do the math just by changing the units they use to measure everything. So here's how we get to that much simpler formula. We start with that messy hc constant. Then we swap out our energy unit from joules to something called electron-volts, or EV. It's just a much more natural unit for the teeny tiny energies we're talking about with single particles. We also switch the wavelength from meters to micrometers, which is a perfect scale for visible light. And once you do all that conversion, you're left with a beautiful, clean, new constant, 1.24. And that little journey of switching units, it brings us to the big payoff. All that complicated math with those crazy, huge, and tiny numbers just melts away into something that's incredibly simple and, honestly, pretty elegant. And here it is. The energy of a photon, now in those handy electron volts, is simply 1.24 divided by its wavelength in micrometers. That's it. It's the exact same physics, the same relationship we talked about, but it's expressed in units that are just so much more practical. This is the version that people actually use every single day. And you don't have to take my word for it. The experts over at PV Education point out that, yeah, the exact number is technically closer to 1.2398, but for almost anything you'd want to do, just using 1.24 is more than good enough. It's a scientifically solid shortcut, and it's incredibly useful. Okay, so we've gone on quite a journey here, right? From the whole wave-particle mystery all the way down to a simple, practical formula. Let's just take a step back and really nail down the key takeaways and why any of this actually matters. So, let's recap. First, light is made of particles called photons, each with a specific energy. Second, that energy is inversely related to its wavelength. Just remember, high energy for blue light, low energy for red light. And finally, we can skip the complicated physics formula and use a much simpler one, E equals 1.24 divided by lambda, to figure out that energy in really practical terms. And all of this leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to chew on. We now know that every single color of light is carrying a different amount of energy. So, how in the world do solar panels manage to take in that whole rainbow of sunlight at once and turn all those different energies into a single, useful flow of electricity? Well, that sounds like a great topic for another